for?
We are back on the record in C-377239, stated out of us to Devyn Michaels. May the record reflect that Ms. Michaels is present with her attorney, deputy district attorney on behalf of the state, and both parties give way to the presence of our jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Steve, you may call your next witness.
Dennis Ozawa.
Thank you, Judge.
Approximately a detective, approximately 10 years,
And how long have you been in your current assignment?
approximately 8.
What is your current assignment?
I'm with the Crimes Against Persons Unit.
And what does that entail generally?
For the Crimes Against Persons Unit, it entails we investigate a wide variety of violent crimes in the city of Henderson, to include robberies, kidnappings, shootings, death investigations, officer-involved shootings, and homicides also.
And so you've been doing that for 8 years. What were you doing in the 2 years prior as a detective?
I was a fraud detective prior,
And what were you doing prior to that?
patrol officer.
How long were you a patrol officer approximately?
Approximately 10 years.
During the course of your career, sir, have you received numerous trainings on law enforcement best practices?
Correct.
And during the course of your career, have you responded to hundreds of crime scenes?
Correct.
In your 8 years with homicide, have you ever responded to a decapitation case prior to this case?
I have not.
Fair to say that this particular investigation was a large one,
Yes.
entailing many support personnel such as crime scene analysts, other detectives from homicide, and actually some other detectives from other units called in to assist in the investigation.
That is correct.
In this particular case, did you get called out to a homicide at 2698 Paladura on August 7th, 2023?
I did.
Do you remember around what time you were called out?
I believe it was approximately in 9:40 is when we were notified.
9:40 in the morning?
Correct.
And what time was the actual call for service, sir?
I believe it was approximately 8:40 in the morning.
Who was the person reporting?
Yoko Willette.
What was the general information you received before responding to the scene?
From what we were told, that from dispatch, that Yoko had called in, advised that she had found her son, Johnathan Willette, in his bedroom, and he was all bloody, and believes that he was dead at that time.
And so, is it fair to assume that fire and first responders went out to the scene before you did?
Yes,
And it was confirmed that Johnathan was in fact deceased?
that is correct.
Did you say the victim's full name for the record?
Johnathan Willette.
Once you arrive at the scene, you get called out around 9:40. What happens when you arrive?
When we arrive, when we, meaning our Crimes Against Person Unit plus the crime scene analysts, we start to show up. As soon as we all arrive, we're waiting for a brief from the supervisor who's on scene. And then once we're there, he provides the brief, basically kind of explain what they did as far as entering the house, any observations that they made at that point, and then the fact that they had probably talked to Yoko, and then we found out about another person that was there at the time with Yoko. I believe his name was Masao Yoshida, that they were the only two there at the house. And then when the supervisor at that time was Sergeant Shields, who we had spoke with to give us the brief.
Okay. Once you get your briefing from Sergeant Shields, is there a quick walkthrough done of the scene?
That's correct.
In addition to that, did you assign various investigators to different tasks in and around the scene?
That is correct.
Was witness canvassing conducted?
Yes.
What does that mean for the jury?
For witness canvassing, we have other detectives kind of walk around the neighborhood and knock on doors, see if anybody heard or seen anything that night. And then for us, we're going to be talking to the witnesses that were on scene at that time too.
During the course of the witness canvassing, did you learn of any witness who suggested that they heard a gunshot in any time during our operative time period?
No,
Was there video canvassing done as well?
that is correct.
What does video canvassing generally entail?
Typically it's in the same way where we have detectives go out, knock on doors, and try to find out if anybody has any video surveillance attached to their residence, and if they captured any kind of footage that would be beneficial to our investigation.
And those detectives who do that, are they documenting what they find?
That's correct.
And then ultimately, you as the lead investigator, do you receive that documentation?
Correct.
And then is it your responsibility to then transfer that documentation into an overall report so the lawyers in a murder trial can actually see what was done and who did it, and et cetera?
That is correct.
In this particular case, was the entire investigation documented under Henderson Police Department event number 23-15229?
Yes.
During the course of the video canvassing, did you learn that there were some people who had cameras that were not initially contacted?
Can you rephrase that?
So, well, let me ask it in an easier way. Did the video canvassing occur over the course of several days?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So maybe not all done on day one, but there's
Yes,
follow-up and stuff that's occurring.
Yeah, as the investigation continued, we continued to try and look for more video surveillance throughout the investigation.
All right. So let's talk about the scene generally. I want to start with the outside. What did you observe outside, meaning vehicles or anything of note?
So when I arrived, I observed that the area being the actual residence, had been taped off with crime scene tape. There was a white truck parked out in front with a trailer attached to it. That it was parked on the wrong side of the road, which then that kind of brought notice to us that also the trailer was kind of out a little bit into the road, which in our eyes, or in my opinion, looked like someone was there for a quick trip, not someone that wanted to park there and leave it there overnight. There was also a cone that was in the driveway that we later found out that was indicated that patrol believed that there was possibly a blood mark right there. And then the garage had actually been partially open from the bottom.
And in addition to the truck with the trailer, there was also a small sedan out front, correct?
Correct. And that was parked across the street.
And ultimately, did you determine who was the owner of that vehicle?
We did.
Who was that?
A female named Andrea Reyes, who then we discovered was an ex-girlfriend who recently broke up with our victim, Johnathan Willette.
Based on the fact that her vehicle was out front at the home, was she a person of interest initially?
Correct.
Did you do follow-up investigation to include obtaining her call detail records as well as interviewing her?
That's correct.
Do you remember which detective interviewed Andrea?
It would have been Detective Linow.
Okay. Without getting into her statement, that would be hearsay, but did you learn anything of big evidentiary value related to Andrea? Not
from Andrea. We learned that we had been told that she was in another state at the time. Was in question. And then after talking to her, we found out that she confirmed that. And then with the records that we got from her phone later, confirmed that she was in a different state at the time that we were looking at.
Okay, but nonetheless, you look into it. Her car's out front. You gotta check your boxes, right?
That's correct.
Did you? Describe the actual scene walkthrough when you go inside. What do you remember about it?
So when we go in through the front door, to get, I guess, a little descriptive, you walk in, there's a flight of stairs that you go up that kind of takes you to a small den area, and then you have stairs off to the right side of us that take you up to the second floor. And then as you continue to move forward a little bit more, there's the kitchen area. And then to the right of that, you have to walk back down a few flights of stairs, which is where Johnathan Willette's bedroom, makeshift bedroom, would be, because it's, I guess, technically a living room, but it's converted to his bedroom. I believe there were some sheets that were kind of covering the entrance up. I guess we would say that it's using for privacy. And then once you walk down those stairs, you end up going into his bedroom. You can't see the bed where he was lying at that time, because it's kind of tucked back in the corner. And then as you kind of move forward more into the room, you can see the bed, you see the blankets. You can't see him yet, and you don't see him or his body until you get closer to the front of the bed, and then you start to wrap around. Then at that point you can start seeing the blood on the bed, blood stains, and then blood next to the bed at that point. And then when we get closer, or at least when I got closer, you could have that chemical smell that started burning your nose and your eyes at that time, which we were told from Sergeant Shields originally, that was the same thing that they smelled. And I think they actually also mentioned that they had saw smoke coming from the body when they went through at their time. But there was also the chemical bottles that were observed in the hallway, ammonia, I believe it was bleach. And later on, we actually did search what, if you actually combine those together, what it does. It actually creates a toxic gas called chloramine. That was just something that was found out later. And then as you get, like I said, you got closer to the bed, you can see his body where it's just the top of his shoulders. The blanket was pulled up. And then you didn't see his head, obviously. His neck was severed. Blood was there on the blanket. And then we also noticed that there wasn't any blood spatter on the walls or on the ceiling. Just given the type of injury that we were seeing, you expect to probably see a little bit more blood in other places. And then just through that quick, brief walkthrough, I didn't see any weapons or any devices that were believed to be used that would have severed his head off at that time.
As a result of that very strong chemical smell, did the walkthrough get kind of cut short and you step out for a while?
That's correct.
Ultimately, you need to get a search warrant from a judge in order to actually do a thorough search, correct?
Correct.
And was that done in this case?
Yes.
Did you at some point on the scene interview Yoko?
We did.
Did you learn, according to Yoko, who was the last person to be with John while he was alive?
Yes, we did.
And who was that?
We discovered she had mentioned that a female name that she only knew as Nikki at the time, and said it was his ex that he had 2 kids with. But later on, we ended up finding out that her name was Devyn Michaels, or just a different name with Devyn Michaels.
And ultimately, does one of your other detectives obtain a phone number for Miss Michaels?
That is correct.
Is that 702-677-4430?
That is correct.
And was that Detective Pappas?
Yes.
Did Pappas contact her?
He did.
And was she asked to come back to the scene?
Yes, she was.
Did she arrive on the scene?
Yes.
With whom?
We believe the kids were with her at the time.
And what was she driving?
A Nissan Armada.
Did
vehicle.
you make contact with her down the street?
We did.
Did you and Detective Pappas conduct an interview with her?
We did.
If you could just, the jury's already heard it, but so can you just give us a quick summary of what you learned of any potential value in that first interview?
So with our first interview, we just basically try to get as much, we wanted to make it short, but try to get as much information as we could to follow up on later, given the fact that we were told that she was the last person to have seen him. So when we talked to her, a little suspicion that was raised because she wasn't very detailed on what she did with them that night, given what we were told from Yoko that approximately between 10 and 1 o'clock that Devyn was there with them. So when she first explained what they had done together, it was just school shopping the day prior, and then just kind of went into that they were loading things back and forth from the Paladura address to her address at 5510 Porcupine Rim, I believe is the address, and that they were basically just loading things and unloading things, and that's kind of what at first she told us at the beginning.
Okay, let me stop you and just ask a couple specifics.
Okay.
Basically, in this first interview, did she claim John was alive and smoking in the garage when she left?
Yes.
Was that inconsistent with what you had learned prior from Yoko?
That's correct.
Describe that.
So what we had learned from Yoko is that when Yoko advised that she had come down at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is already after she had spoken to John and Devyn prior to that, but she only had seen Devyn at that time around 1, and then Yoko advised that Devyn had told her that John was sleeping in the bedroom because he had been drinking already, and that they were planning on going in the next morning to take the kids to school, get them ready, and get them registered. So I think the next day, on the 7th, was actually first day of school that week. And then compared to what Devyn told us is that she had told us that John was awake in the garage at the time when she had left. So those statements were contradictory to each other.
Ultimately, you obtained that warrant from the judge, correct?
Correct.
And did you execute a search warrant along with a whole lot of supporting detectives?
Correct.
During the course of the search warrant, the actual search, did you notice any particular items that were maybe missing from the scene or something you would expect at the scene that wasn't there?
Yes, close to when the search warrant was being completed, we were basically looking for a cell phone of Jonathan's, his wallet, and possibly the keys too, because we were interested in the truck. But we did not find his truck keys or his wallet with his ID or his cell phone anywhere at the house.
Did you find anything in the scene that could potentially be a murder weapon?
We did not.
Any weapons, or I guess I should say items in the scene that you felt could have been used to decapitate John?
We did not.
You mentioned the blood staining earlier, and I want to just get a couple more details. I believe you already said no blood on the walls or ceiling, correct?
Correct.
Have you been on crime scenes in the past in which there are gunshot injuries?
Yes.
Have you been on sharp force injuries or stabbing cases in the past?
Yes.
Blunt force injury cases?
Correct.
Sometimes single blunt force, sometimes multiple blunt force, correct?
That's correct.
When it comes to multiple blunt forces, would you expect to see some cast off?
That's correct.
Why is that?
From multiple blunt force trauma, when we say cast off, we say that after the first hit, which would cause the bleeding at that point, and then as the continued hits after the fact, the blood would be on whatever object that was striking the body or the head at this point, and it would have had cast off coming off the item, and you would have that somewhere on the walls or somewhere near where the strikes were occurring.
But that's not necessarily the case if you have a single...
For one single blow, no.
Did you find any firearms evidence at the scene?
No.
Based upon your review of the scene, did you determine that a gun was probably unlikely to have been used in the scene?
Yes. So basically, since the fact that there were no bullet impact marks, there were no, like in the wall, there were no bullet impact marks that we saw in the mattress, no blood spatter from a bullet impact going through a body or a head was seen. Also the fact that Yoko and Yoshida didn't report that they heard a gunshot, and there were no phone calls coming from the neighborhood that there was a gunshot. There was no reason to believe that a gun was used in this incident.
As a result of that, are you generally kind of narrowing your focus in on sharp or blunt weapons?
That is correct.
You're not ignoring a gun if you come across it, but your focus, what you're really looking for, is sharp or blunt.
At that time, yes.
Did you later learn that it was reported that a knife was missing from the scene?
That is correct.
Based upon the blood patterning as you saw it, can you describe kind of some of your investigative deductions you got from the blood near John?
So when you got closer to the body and where you saw the blood on top of the actual mattress, you saw it there next to his body, and then you kind of saw some off on the side of the bed, and there was a little bit of pool of blood at the bottom on the carpet. Then when you look at it, you can kind of see there's certain voids in the blood. So when we roundtabled it, talked together, it was kind of determined that, hey, there's probably something placed there, because where the blood was actually at, you could see, like I said, some voids. So where maybe a possible container was that possibly collected a lot of the blood, because even though there was a good amount of blood that was there on the scene, not as much as what you would believe, considering the type of injury that you saw with his head severed.
Okay, and try not to ask this in too morbid a way, but if you're assuming, or did you assume the decapitation occurred there in the scene?
That's correct.
If you're assuming that is the case, and the head finally is popped off, if there's nothing under it, would you expect kind of a splash or a different patterning?
That is correct.
Did you notice whether there was a doggy door in the room?
Yes.
And what did you notice about that, or what deductions did you come to from that?
We were told that the doggy door was closed, which was unusual. When we were told by Yoko, and then when you saw where the doggy door was at, next to the slider, and you witnessed that it actually was still shut at the time.
Okay. As a result of the observations you made at the scene, did you or other detectives contact the defendant over the phone?
That's correct.
Was that you?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and the same phone number we just mentioned a minute ago?
That's correct.
What was the content of that? Was that a short contact?
After our initial interview?
Yes.
Yes.
Was there something referenced about a Burlington coat factory?
Yeah, so I had contacted Devyn again over the phone because we wanted to talk to her, ask more clarifying questions, and actually talk to Deviere also. So we asked if she was willing to meet. She said yes, and then we were going to head up to her place at 5510 Porcupine. During that conversation, she had mentioned that one of her daughters had actually told her that while they were school shopping at the Burlington Coat Factory, somebody a male had approached the daughter. I can't remember which one it was, but a male had approached the daughter and Johnathan at the Burlington Coat Factory and made the comment, I believe, "I'm coming to get you." So being that it's still early in the investigation, things that we need to investigate everything, as myself and Detective Skinner are driving to the Porcupine Rim address, we had another detective go to the Burlington Coat Factory that she said that they were at and review video surveillance from that place.
And what was learned during the course of that?
So the video surveillance was reviewed. I believe Detective Kondratovich, who then relayed to me that at no time did he see anybody approach John and his daughter, and it looked like there was any kind of confrontation at all with anybody at the store.
Okay, so something that the defendant mentions it, you attempt to verify it, there's no evidence of it, but you note it for your investigation.
Correct.
And then did you start heading toward the 5510 Porcupine Rim address?
Yes, sir.
Who'd you go with?
Detective Skinner.
As you arrived on scene, did you notice any trash cans out front?
Yes.
In
Throughout
addition-
the neighborhood.
Throughout the neighborhood?
Correct.
In addition to noting it's trash day, there's trash cans throughout the neighborhood, did you notice anything as you approached the actual home?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So when we're approaching her house, her vehicle, the Nissan Armada, is parked on the left side of the driveway. And at that time, Devyn was already outside. It looks like she was taking things from her car back to the house. So then we follow her up the driveway. And as walking up the driveway, I see a black cell phone on the ground in a spot that typically you wouldn't see a cell phone just sitting on the floor. So I take note of that, and it looked like it was either dropped or left there. But at this point in time, we know that we're still missing John's cell phone, so the possibility that could be a cell phone. Take note. I let Detective Skinner know that also, and then we continue to follow Devyn inside the house.
And just so we're clear, as you're walking up, I'm not going to pull the photos up, but you said the defendant's vehicle is on the left.
Correct.
Of the driveway, parked nose in, facing the home.
That is correct.
Where is the cell phone in relation to her car?
It would have been close to the garage on the driver's side of the vehicle, and near the rock landscape that's on the outside of the driveway.
The vehicle meaning the Nissan Armada.
The Nissan Armada.
On the
correct.
driver's side.
Correct.
Okay. Why is it that you don't go pick it up right there and you just take note of it and talk to Skinner about it?
Because at that point, we want to be able to talk to Devyn and Deviere, and we want to be able to not have them know that we have that phone at that point, because we're not sure if it is John's phone, and if it is, then obviously our interviews are going to be different when we talk to them. So if it's actually evidence that that we're going to need or use, it's going to be something that we want before we can talk to them and get more information from them. We don't want it to basically have them use that information also now to come up with different, a story, I guess, per se,
Okay.
with us.
And as a homicide investigator, you are aware that you can't just go seizing evidence without a warrant, correct?
Correct.
And so even if you wanted to, you couldn't just walk up and seize the cell phone at that time. You would have to get a judge to sign off on an actual search.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you make contact with Deviere?
Yes.
Where was that? Was it out front, inside? Do you remember?
Initially inside the house, and then I conducted an interview with him inside my vehicle.
And did you conduct a recorded interview?
That is correct.
Audio recorded?
Yes.
Did you notice anything about Deviere as you began to talk to him?
When we entered my vehicle, there was a heavy odor of alcohol that I detected, and then he actually apologized in the interview at the beginning, saying that he had actually been drinking since he had gotten home, and said he was sorry that he was basically possibly intoxicated.
Did he say why he started drinking when he got home?
Basically because of the news that he found out about his dad being deceased.
And you've spoken to dead people's next of kin and families many times in your career.
That is correct.
Was that out of the world of reasonableness for you, or what?
No, obviously I told him that, hey, I understand what you're saying, or why you've been drinking. It's people mourn in different ways, and that is one way that people mourn is they tend to drink sometimes too.
Nonetheless, even though he's been drinking, you still want to talk to him and ask him some questions, correct?
That is correct.
And you did that?
Yes.
Again, the jury has gone through a lot of evidence before you testified, so I'm going to just hit a couple of points, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Generally, did Deviere say he had been home all day the day before?
That is correct.
Did he actually initially say, I was working, and kind of correct himself and be like, wait, is yesterday Sunday, that kind of thing?
That is correct.
Okay. So he corrected himself.
Yes.
And then he says he was home the day before, meaning August 6th.
That is correct.
Okay. And did he indicate that he was home the night before watching the girls?
Yes.
Did he, in your opinion, minimize the sexual relationship with the defendant?
He did.
And just generally, I'm not going to hold you to precise numbers, but was Deviere a bit younger than the defendant?
He was.
There was a question asked with a prior witness. It might be out of left field with you, but I want to ask you. There was kind of a suggestion made that Deviere in this interview had mentioned that cell phone in the driveway. Is that accurate?
No.
Did he say anything about the cell phone?
No. As I kind of stated previously, we didn't want to bring up the cell phone, and the fact that we had found it or seen it, just because we wanted to get information from him without kind of any evidence that he would know about at that time.
Okay, so any suggestion made earlier, unintentionally probably, that Deviere brought up that cell phone in the driveway, that did not happen?
No.
Okay.
Not in that interview.
Deviere at home during the time frame indicate that he worked the next morning and learned of his dad's death via phone calls from family and stuff?
That is correct.
I'm not going to go into too much detail on the phones because we have other witnesses to do that, but ultimately you did get his CDRs, correct?
Correct.
Did those CDRs confirm or refute his claim that he was home last night?
They confirmed his statement.
With the video canvassing, that was done at Porcupine Rim and Paladura, correct?
Correct.
Was there any video in the area of Porcupine Rim that depicted Deviere's vehicle or vehicles moving away from the scene?
No.
And while you were talking to Deviere, did Detective Skinner talk to the two young girls?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you conduct an interview with the defendant, Miss Michaels, prior to executing the search warrant on Porcupine Rim?
Yes.
During the course of that interview, does something beep and draw your attention?
Yeah, during that second interview with Devyn, there was a Republic Services trash truck that had driven by and honked its horn and picking up the trash through the neighborhood.
At some point during that second interview, did the girls approach the vehicle?
That is correct.
Describe that.
It was close towards the end of the interview, and one of the daughters came up, and she was holding a black cell phone in her hand. When we had rolled down the window, they basically were saying, "Hey, Mommy, this is Daddy's cell phone. This is the reason why you can't get a hold of him." So then she hands the phone to Devyn, who then we take the phone from her, and then it's given to Detective Skinner. And then basically Devyn confirms that cell phone does belong to Johnathan at that point.
Did you note anything particular about the cell phone itself?
Yeah, and then we discover that on the cell phone, the screen is cracked, and then there's apparent blood on the screen at that time.
After this, do you end up getting that search warrant through a judge for the Porcupine Rim address?
Yes,
And did that include the Porcupine Rim address itself as well as the cars?
that is correct.
All the vehicles?
All vehicles on scene.
Did that include a work van?
Yes.
And Your Honor, we had missed these earlier, so I believe there's a stipulation to 653 to 658 as well as 659.
Okay, so 653 to 659?
Yes.
Okay. 653 to 659, are we admitted?
Did you yourself conduct a search warrant on the work truck?
I did not myself.
Just going to show you, though, these are part of your investigative file, correct? 653,
Correct.
654, correct?
Correct.
655,
Yes.
656,
Yes.
657,
Yes.
658.
Yes.
And do you remember who searched that vehicle?
I believe it was Detective Lionel and Detective Christopher.
And then there was also a crime scene analyst documenting stuff, correct?
That is correct.
Were there any bloody weapons, tools, or anything of that nature found within that vehicle?
No.
Was the small sedan also searched?
That is correct.
Was there anything of note or evidentiary value associated with that?
There was not.
Did you note how the van was parked in relation to the car? Not the Nissan Armada yet, but the small sedan.
The work van that Deviere said that he was the one using, yeah, it was parked partially in front of the Honda Civic. And we just kind of took note of that. It's strange because there was a lot more room on the street to be able to park to where there wouldn't be any reason why you would block the vehicle.
Was the Nissan Armada searched on scene or no?
Not on scene, no.
Was it sealed on scene?
Correct.
States 250, is that the Nissan?
It is.
And 248, is that a different angle of the Nissan?
That's correct.
So earlier you were describing where that cell phone with blood and cracked screen was found. Is it over here to the left in this photo?
That would be correct.
Further off?
Close to the rock landscape off there.
Got it. Did you observe anything about the Nissan itself?
When you first looked at the Nissan, it looked freshly cleaned on the outside, like it had been ran through one of the car washes that you just drive through, because it was clean, but yet you could still see like the water stain marks on it still.
251, this is a better photo that actually shows the rock. So it was over, was it this way more toward the driver's door, or?
Sorry.
Don't click. or the judge will yell at you.
Okay.
We'll be on break while we have to.
You can toggle over, but don't click.
So it would have been somewhere around this area right here.
Okay. And for the record, you're just pointing to the small gap of rocks we can see in 251.
That is correct. Yes. That Nissan Armada was searched later at the lab, correct? Correct.
Anything of evidentiary value that was found within the vehicle?
No.
Did you obtain a search warrant for the Nissan Armada's infotainment center?
We did.
And did you execute that warrant and one of your detectives pull the infotainment system with data out of it?
That is correct.
Ultimately, did you review that pretty thoroughly?
Yes.
That data associated with that?
Correct.
Was there anything of note related to that as well as the victim's phone?
In reference to the actual information taken from the vehicle, we got location data from there. So it showed from when it left Porcupine Rim and then went back to Paladura, and then we had it leaving Paladura middle of the night around 2:04, I believe, and then heading back to Porcupine Rim. And then with our, are you saying about our victim's cell phone?
Yes.
Later on, we were able to figure out that his cell phone had left the same time as the vehicle, which for us would say that Devyn was in possession of his cell phone at the time when it went back to the Porcupine Rim address.
Did you also, in addition to all the vehicles, search the home at Porcupine Rim?
Correct.
I want to show you 659. Can't remember if we had marked this earlier, so I just added it. Do you see some samurai swords here?
That is correct.
Anything of note about those?
There was no blood that we saw on there, and they look like movie prop replica souvenir type samurai swords.
Okay. So no blood on the blades at all, correct?
I don't remember specifically on the blades, but I just know that when I was told there was no blood found on
them?
On them.
Okay. Garage. Do you go into the garage at some point?
Yes.
Do you, does somebody find some Ring cameras?
Yes.
And do you remember where those were found?
I believe they were in a bag on top of one of the trash cans.
Did you inspect those for an SD card or like an internal storage device?
That is correct.
Did you find one?
We did not.
Did you obtain a search warrant for the footage from Ring associated with those cameras?
We did.
And what did you do with that?
After we submitted the search warrant to Ring to get any video from that actual system, waited for the records, and then we were advised from Ring, which I believe is Amazon actually, because they're owned by Amazon, advising that there was no actual video recordings available.
Did they have any information to give you?
I believe it was just a subscriber info, which I can't remember if it came back to Johnathan or to the actual house.
Okay, but subscriber info is just paper.
Correct.
Saying who has the account.
Exactly. Who was in charge of the account.
There was no video footage with those cameras,
No.
according to Ring or Amazon, I guess.
Correct.
At some point during the execution of the warrant, did somebody find the victim's wallet and keys wrapped in plastic baggies in a female underwear drawer?
That is correct.
You took note of that as well.
We did.
Was there ever a white female tank top found during the execution of the warrant?
There was not.
Any black and white Nikes with a large white swoosh along the side?
We did not.
Why were the keys important if they were?
The keys that were found inside the bag that was tucked away, hidden in the drawer, were important due to the fact that they were the truck keys to Jonathan's vehicle.
Did you learn something after the arrest of the defendant related to those keys?
Basically, those were the only set of truck keys that we had for the Jonathan's truck.
So did you then go in and release that item of evidence to Yoko so that she could do what she wanted to do with the truck?
That is correct. She had reached out to me asking for the keys because there was another set of keys for her to use.
And I should ask you, during the execution of the warrant back at Paladura, was there ever a set of spare Chevy truck keys found anywhere in that search warrant?
There was not.
During the course of the Porcupine Rim search warrant, did somebody locate a Social Security card?
Yes.
Was that of any relevance to you?
Not really any relevance. She had told us that Johnathan had given it to her, and it was found in her purse, which she did say that she had in her purse.
Okay. Is it a fair deduction that if someone wanted to make changes to custody or school paperwork, they may need the
Yes.
The
They would
Social
need Social
Security
Security card, probably the ID, and any other kind of identifying information for that person.
Did you locate guns inside the home?
We did.
I believe you previously testified that the scene didn't appear consistent with gunshot, but do you take note, document all those guns, etc.?
Correct. Pictures are taken and documented of the weapons that we found, but like we said earlier, there was no evidence at that point to say that a gun was used, so they were just noted and documented.
And ultimately, at this particular scene, are there 11 electronic devices that are taken and later analyzed by digital forensics?
That is correct.
One being the victim's phone that was in the driveway.
Yes.
Was one of them Deviere's device?
Correct.
Another one, the defendant's device?
Correct.
And then any other electronic devices you or anybody else found during the search warrant?
That is correct.
After the search warrant is conducted, or while it's still going on, do you conduct what'll be the third interview with the defendant?
Yes.
During the course of that interview, were you receiving information from your fellow detectives that were still inside?
That's correct.
One of those things being they found the wallet, the ID, the keys, and that?
Yes.
Did you ask the defendant during this third interview about whether John's wallet would be at her house?
I did.
What did she say?
I had asked her, I think I actually had asked her if she knew where John's wallet was at, and she had told me no.
Okay. Did you then go a little bit further and ask her about, or I guess confront her with the fact that you had found it in the house?
We did.
And what did she say about that?
Then she had mentioned that she had multiple wallets of his with other IDs in it when we confronted her about also the ID. And then we had also talked to her, basically confronting her about that. Well, it's the most current ID. Why would you have that? And she really didn't have an answer for us for that.
I'm going to ask you a very important but specific question. Who is it in this interview that talks about the wallet being wrapped in plastic bags?
She was, Devyn.
So she volunteered that info.
That is correct.
You did not tell her the wallet was found wrapped in plastic bags.
We did not.
Did you ask her, or Skinner ask her about the timing of when this would have allegedly been tied in the plastic bags?
We did.
And what was the response, or what did you take from that?
What she had told us, with the keys for the truck being in the plastic bag, her time frame wasn't making sense, just due to the fact that she had told us that when Johnathan had given her the bag and then had dumped stuff in there with the wallet and the keys, it was between the time frame of 8 and 9 o'clock, and then they had still driven from Paladura back to the Porcupine Rim house. And so at that point, she said, when we went back to that house, that's when I had put the plastic bag in my drawer, and then we drove back to Paladura, which we know now also that couldn't have been possible since it was his truck keys that were actually in there. So that couldn't have been the time frame that he had given her all that stuff.
Did you attend John's autopsy?
I did.
Did you notice the obvious very large neck injury?
Yes, I did.
Other than that, were there any bleeding injuries on John's body at all?
There was not.
I want to go back to video surveillance for a moment. It's fair to say that dozens and dozens of homes and businesses were canvassed for surveillance.
That is correct.
And there are lots of hours of footage and data to comb through.
Yes,
You, I would presume, can't do that all yourself, correct?
that is correct.
And so we've previously had a detective testify about a lot of that, but I just want to hit a couple of points with you, okay?
Okay.
You are generally familiar with the surveillance,
Generally, yes.
generally. So was there footage taken from a Terrible's near the Paladura address?
Yes, there was.
Did that footage show the defendant and John alone leaving the store around 10:11 p.m.?
It did.
Was there a bunch of footage taken from the Paladura neighborhood itself?
There was.
Was there footage from 2699 Fan Palm?
Yes, there was.
And do you remember if that one was a fixed camera?
I believe, yeah, it was a fixed camera that recorded, constant recorded.
Was that, did that show the victim's truck arriving in the neighborhood about 10:12 p.m.?
I believe so, yes.
And that would have been consistent with the distance from the Chevron?
It would be.
So if they leave Chevron at 10:11, it's real close by.
Correct. The Chevron was located just around the corner from their house.
2696 Paladura, was there footage from that?
Yes.
And was that, if you're facing the homicide scene, is that the home to the right?
Yes, it would be.
Okay. Was there a clip of that that you observed that showed the headlights arriving consistently around that time the Chevron video ends and all of that?
That's correct.
And that showed two shadows getting out what appeared to be the truck?
That would be correct, yes.
Around 11 a.m. was there, 11 p.m. was there footage from that camera showing a figure put something in the Nissan, turn it on, and then move it forward a little bit?
Correct.
And then based on where you know that the truck was the next morning, did it appear that the Nissan moved nose to nose with that truck?
It would have, yes.
And fair to say that once it goes off screen, you can't actually see it.
No.
Obviously. That same camera, was there an activation at 2:04 a.m.?
Yes,
And does that depict generally the Nissan backing up and leaving?
that is correct.
Video from Porcupine Rim. So we're moving now to Porcupine Rim. Was there a couple of videos that showed Deviere's work van parked behind the sedan?
Yes,
And did it appear that work van stayed in the same spot from night to morning?
that is correct.
Was there video taken from 6505 Taylor Creek?
Yes,
And was that a motion activated camera?
that was.
Did it appear to you that the motion settings or the sensitivity was kind of weak on that one?
Yeah, and I believe I was told that it only activated when there's some kind of movement around the front of the house.
The house itself that it's on?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. 6621 Gray Jupiter, was there a fixed camera on that?
Correct.
And was that one continuous recorded and not motion activated?
It was.
And is that positioned essentially at the only vehicle entrance and exit to the neighborhood?
That is correct.
Does that show the victim's truck leaving at 9:29 p.m. on the 6th?
Approximately, yes.
Does it also show the defendant's Nissan Armada entering the neighborhood at 2:39 a.m.?
That is correct.
Does it also show Deviere's work van leaving at 7:31 a.m. for the first time?
It does.
There's a road that's behind the Porcupine Rim address. Is that Rebecca?
I believe so.
Was there any video surveillance at the Rebecca Road? Did you canvass that?
I did.
Was there any video surveillance on Rebecca Road?
No.
There's also a CVS that was mentioned.
That's correct. Devyn had told us that when she left the Paladura address, she had driven home, but prior to getting home, she went to pick up her, I think, child's prescription at the CVS, and then she gave us the specific place that, the specific address to the CVS.
And you follow up on that?
I did.
And was there video showing the defendant in the drive-through prescription line at 2:28 a.m.?
Correct.
Was there anyone else seen inside the vehicle other than the defendant?
We did not see anybody else in the vehicle.
Okay. At some point in time, you and your fellow detectives make the decision to arrest the defendant, correct?
Correct.
After her arrest, is there another interview conducted by detectives Christopher and Linau?
That is correct.
Okay. You did not witness that, so you can't speak to that, correct?
I did not.
Did you receive from them, without saying what it is, but did you receive from them after the interview like a one-page handwritten drawing?
Correct.
After that, do you conduct a whole bunch of follow-up investigation and start receiving information and analyzing it?
That is correct.
I want to talk about the Burla real quick, Burla being the Nissan Armada's infotainment.
Yes.
Did that particular item of evidence show pinpoint GPS tracking?
It did.
And did that suggest that the defendant's Nissan Armada left the scene at Paladura at 2:04 a.m.?
It did.
Did you also do a whole bunch of follow-up with call detail records?
We did.
And I believe you mentioned this previously, you obtained the CDRs for Andrea Reyes.
Yes.
Did those rule her out?
They did.
And those showed her up in a remote area far away from the scene?
Yeah, I believe in Oregon.
Did you obtain call detail records for the victim's phone?
We did.
And would that be phone number 702-561-9242?
Correct.
Does that sound right?
I believe so.
Those call detail records for Jonathan's phone, did they suggest that his phone kind of went inactive after around 11 p.m. on the 6th?
That is correct.
And then they show that that phone pops up at Porcupine Rim the next morning.
It did.
Did you also obtain Google data separate from the CDRs for Jonathan's device?
That's correct.
And is that what you mentioned earlier, that at 2:04 a.m. it showed traveling the same track as the defendant?
That is correct.
Did you obtain CDRs or call detail records for the defendant's main device?
Yes.
Would that be 702-677-4430?
Yes.
And you yourself talked to her on that number, correct?
That is correct.
And was the CDRs on that consistent with what we've talked about with the Burla and the Google data?
Correct. They all matched up together.
Did you also obtain CDRs for Deviere's device?
We did.
And was that 707-628-1336?
Yes.
There's a subscriber sheet that comes with that.
There is.
And there was a man, I believe it was Joseph Sands, listed as a subscriber.
He was.
Did you do any research into Joseph Sands and the address on the subscriber sheet?
Yeah, we discovered with that same address in, it was Vacaville, California. Also living there was a female named Arminthia Sands, which is what Deviere told us that's his mom.
Okay, so the male name is Joseph Sands, but you do some research into that to determine if there's a Sands relation.
Yeah.
Did the location data in Deviere's phone suggest that he was home all night at the Porcupine Rim residence and doesn't leave until he goes to work the next day?
That's correct.
Did you cause various items of evidence to be submitted to the forensic lab for further testing?
We did.
I want to talk to you about fingerprints real quick. Did anything of note come back on fingerprints for either the defendant or Deviere at the Paladura residence?
No.
Did a couple of things come back for the victim at his own home and Yoko at her own home?
Correct, which we would expect.
Okay. With regard to DNA, did you obtain or were you able to obtain a search warrant for the defendant's buccal swab after her arrest?
That is correct.
And you can't just go swabbing people, you have to get a warrant for that, correct?
Correct.
Did you obtain a buccal swab search warrant for Deviere?
We did not.
Why not?
At that point, he had been ruled out as a suspect, and there was no probable cause for us to actually get his DNA.
And we're going to have an expert talk about DNA results, but very basically, did you learn that the DNA on the knot of the plastic bags came back to the defendant.
Correct.
And then the DNA on the driveway blood at Paladura and the blood on the victim's phone at Porcupine Rim come back to the victim.
That is correct.
Detective, I'm almost done with you. Just one little last line of questioning here. During the course of your investigation, you're receiving information consistently for an extended period of time, correct?
Yes.
And ultimately, your job is to try to put it all together and see where it all fits, correct?
That is correct.
Were you able to establish a timeline based upon all the evidence for the homicide?
We were.
And fair to say that a forensic pathologist, medical examiner, they're a little wishy-washy when it comes to timing death, correct?
But you could say that, yes.
Okay. What did you conclude the time of death was for John?
So given all the evidence that we collected, phone data, and then the blood, the DNA, and stuff that came back to our victim, Johnathan, we kind of deduced that we know that he was last seen at the house at Paladura about 10-12 from Yoko and from Devyn telling us that, hey, yeah, Yoko saw him alive at about that time frame, 10 o'clock. And then we know that the last person to see him was Devyn, and that she left the house around 2 o'clock. And given the fact that we had the phone that had his blood on it, leaving the house at about 2:04, we know that definitely 2:04 was the end time. So between 10, I think it was like 10:12 when they arrived there, to 2:04 when she leaves, that would have been our time frame that we know the homicide would have occurred, given the fact that he didn't have any cuts on him. There was no other blood that would have been coming from Johnathan, except from when he was killed and then when his head was cut off. So that's how we can say that, yeah, the homicide would have occurred between that time frame.
Pass witness, thank you.
Your approach.
Take a brief recess for further cross-examination of this witness. All right, during this recess, you must not discuss or communicate with anyone, including fellow citizens, in any way regarding this case or its merits, either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. You must not read, watch, listen to any news or media accounts or commentary about the case. You must not do any research, such as consulting dictionaries, using the internet, or using reference materials. You must not make any investigation, test the theory of the case, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own. You must not form or trust any opinion regarding this case or finds it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, 2:35 will be in recess until 2:50.
All rise for the jury.
Record is C-377-239, statement of adverse to Devyn Michaels. May the record reflect that Ms. Michaels is present with her attorney, Deputy Sheriff, on behalf of the state. Will both parties present in the presence of our jury?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Detective, I just remind you that you are still under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jones, would you begin your cross-examination?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Fair to say that you were the lead detective in reference to the investigation concerning this matter.
Yes.
And while you worked with the group, I mean, you made the primary decisions. You made the primary calls. Fair to say?
Sure. Fair to say, yes.
Fair to say. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but fair to say that, I mean, you were the lead agent in this case.
Yeah. Collectively, though, we, as a unit, we do discuss the case entirely, and when decisions are made, we do collectively make decisions together.
Approximately how many detectives were involved in the investigation of this case?
As far as the crimes against person unit, or you're talking like the entire?
Overall.
I I couldn't tell you the exact number of detectives that helped out with the case.
How many patrol officers were involved in the investigation of this case?
To the exact number, I couldn't tell you the exact number. No.
How many crime scene analysts were involved in the investigation of this case?
I mean, I can count them off for you if you wanted me to, off of memory, as far as like who assisted during each scene. But off the top of my head, I can't tell you how many exactly.
Okay. If I were to tell you we've heard from 2 crime scene analysts, specifically a crime scene analyst Wilson and a crime scene analyst Miriam, would that sum up the number of crime scene analysts that were involved in this case?
No.
How many were there then, just on memory?
So we had 3 crime scene that came out to the scene, Paladura, that helped collect evidence there. Then we had 1 that came out to Porcupine Rim. So that would be 4. And then autopsy, which would have been one of the same CSAs that were out originally. So 4, I think, CSAs that collectively came and collected everything.
Okay. You had testified that there were 11 electronic devices that were seized and examined as part of this investigation?
That's correct.
And what specific devices were those?
I'd have to review the reports as far as each specific device. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay. You had gave testimony concerning a phone believed to be possessed and used by Johnathan, correct?
Correct.
And what was the phone number that was associated with that phone?
I couldn't tell you the exact number off the top of my head right now.
Okay. It was the phone number that you had alluded to during your direct just a few moments ago, correct?
Okay.
Fair to say?
Sure. Yes.
Are you aware that John used a second phone?
Not at the moment, no.
Are you aware of any analysis or call records that were reviewed in reference to phone number 725-279-1715?
Not at the moment, no.
You had given testimony concerning various items that you found both in the Porcupine Rim residence as well as the Paladura residence, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked to reference the swords in question, correct?
Correct.
Do you have that, Counsel? The swords? And we don't take issue with the photograph, but I have some questions concerning that. Thank you very much. In order to just not keep adding exhibits, we're going to use the state's exhibit. It's exhibit 659. These were swords that you gave a testimony concerning that were found in the Porcupine Rim residence, correct?
Correct.
You had testified that there was no blood on the blades, but all we have is this photograph of the swords, correct?
I believe I said that I wasn't positive as far as being blood on the blades, but as far as when we examined them, which I didn't examine myself, but was told that there was no blood or any type of evidence on them that we believe was evidentiary value, and that they looked like prop collector stuff items.
These weren't seized as part of this investigation, correct?
They were not.
They were not preserved or kept, impounded into evidence, correct?
They were not.
So basically we have this photograph of these 3 swords, correct?
Correct.
And your testimony is that, I think you said, I don't think there was blood on them, correct?
No, I believe that I was told that there was no blood on the actual swords.
And who would have told you that?
The detectives that were conducting the search warrant at the time.
Detective Lipich, we heard from him earlier today, would have been Detective Lipich?
I'd have to go back and see who was at the house on the first search warrant at Porcupine Rim.
Fair to say we don't have any photographs wherein the blades are shown or preserved for a later hearing, like the trial.
That's correct.
No swabs were taken of either the blades or the handles, correct?
Correct.
No analysis, forensic analysis was done of these blades, correct?
Correct.
No fingerprint analysis was done on these swords, correct?
Correct.
Including the blades.
Correct.
And we're dealing with a decapitation case, correct?
That is correct.
Fair to say that samurai swords would kind of fall in that realm of importance when it comes to a decapitation case?
Depending if they were real samurai swords.
Well, and you're saying that you're not, but what do we have to show that they aren't?
If we have the photographs. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, we have these photographs. We don't have a photograph of the blades, do we?
But correct.
We don't have any analysis concerning the steel of which the blades presumably were made, correct?
Correct.
We just have this photographs of the swords, correct?
Correct.
There was a photograph shown, I believe it was the second day of trial, concerning the bathroom area of the Paladura house, the downstairs bathroom. Do you recall? Do you know? Have you reviewed it?
I've seen the crime scene photos, yes.
Was there any analysis done inside that shower?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I would say that there probably would have been. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now if there was analysis done.
No swabbing the interior of that shower, presumptive test, blood, nothing?
That you would have to ask the CSAs that were conducting the processing of that house.
No DNA swabs submitted for further analysis of the contents of that shower?
Like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you if it was or if, no, we didn't submit any swabs from the shower. I can tell you that.
Okay. You had testified that no guns were impounded through the course of this investigation, correct?
Correct.
And that was because I believe your testimony was that nobody had said anything about hearing a gunshot, correct?
That was part of it. It was also given the fact that we didn't have any bullet impact marks inside the house. There wasn't any blood spatter that you would believe to see from a bullet going through somebody anywhere inside the house. And then the fact that nobody had actually heard a gunshot or was reported a gunshot. So that was all part of it, correct?
You had testified that when you came across the body, you had noticed that there was not that much blood found, correct? Given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances, I thought that there'd be a little bit more blood there.
So this crime scene, you'd agree, was something that was out of the ordinary.
Unique.
It was unique. I mean, assuming the head had been severed by a mechanical powered saw, we would expect there to be cast off from this saw, would we not?
I guess it depends on what type of saw was used.
And you're aware of the analysis done by Dr. Burns, wherein she opined her conclusion is that a mechanical powered saw was used.
Correct.
In addition to a knife or perhaps a sword, correct?
I don't believe she said a knife, no.
But nonetheless, you didn't find anything indicative of a mechanical powered saw upon your review of the crime scene where the headless body was, correct?
Correct.
But we know, at least based upon the anthropologist's expert opinion, that a mechanical powered saw was used, correct?
Correct.
In reference to a gunshot, again, you're just presuming a gunshot didn't occur, a gun wasn't used to kill this gentleman, correct?
Given all the evidence that we saw at the scene, we hadn't had anything to say that there was a gun used in this incident.
But there's really nothing to show other than what the anthropologist found, that a mechanical powered saw was used, correct? I mean, we have an anthropologist that said a mechanical powered saw was used, correct?
To sever the head.
Yes.
Correct.
And there was no evidence found concerning that mechanical powered saw, correct?
Correct.
You have a person that's dead, cause of death unknown, no guns are impounded or tested, correct?
Correct.
No gunshot residue tests are done concerning the decedent's body, correct?
Correct.
No gunshot residue tests are performed upon Deviere Willette's hands, correct?
Correct.
No gunshot residue tests are performed upon Devyn Michaels' hands, correct?
Correct. As stated previously, there wasn't any evidence to say that a gun was actually used. And to your point, as far as not doing GSR on our victim, there was chemicals poured on his body. So at that time too, even if there was believed a gun to be used, we wouldn't have been able to do that with him, given the fact that there was believed chemicals to be poured on him.
But his hands were bagged, correct?
After the fact.
Yes. And presumably the decedent's hands were bagged for further testing, correct?
Correct.
In fact, we know that the hands were swabbed for DNA, correct?
Correct.
But the hands were not swabbed for any gunshot residue tests, correct?
Due to the fact that there was no evidence to say that a gun was used during the incident.
Well, and we discussed saw no evidence of that, but we don't know
Correct,
if that was. But nonetheless, my point being, there was no gunshot residue test performed upon anybody's hands, including the decedent's, correct?
Correct.
You were present during the collection of evidence at the Paladura residence, correct?
I was present during the search warrant, but as far as being completed, I had myself and Detective Skinner had already left the residence to speak with Devyn and Deviere.
There had been questions asked days ago concerning rings. Are you aware of that? Were you ever looking for any rings, evidence of rings, like wedding bands, at the Paladura residence?
I was not.
And you were the lead detective, correct?
Correct.
You've obviously reviewed the crime scene photos taken at the Paladura residence, correct?
Correct.
There are no photographs concerning the contents exposed of those garbage cans, are there?
Correct.
Specifically, exhibit number 68. It's a trash can downstairs. We have no photographs of what the contents of that trash can were, correct?
Correct.
In reference to electronic devices, I'm going to show you what's been marked and divided the state's exhibits 284 and 287. This is 284. This is the Porcupine residence. And I'm going to ask him some questions concerning electronic devices. We have an Xbox here, don't we?
That's correct.
And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 287. That's an Xbox here, correct?
I believe so. I couldn't tell you just looking at that picture right there.
You'll agree that in the course of the investigation, reviewing text message and otherwise, Deviere Willette was a gamer, wasn't he?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay. You're not aware of text, he's gaming, complaints from Devyn concerning him playing all the time? Not aware of that?
I'd have to review the text messages.
That's an electronic device, correct?
Correct.
And you're aware that gamers are able to communicate with one another through a game platform, like an Xbox.
Correct.
That Xbox was not seized or analyzed for potential evidence, was it?
It was not.
So you'll agree with me that all of the electronic devices were in fact not seized or analyzed through the course of this investigation?
From your definition of electronic devices with the Xbox, yes. Not all of them were collected.
That one in particular, in the room that Devyn and Deviere shared, that was not collected, correct?
I couldn't tell you if they shared it or not, but that one was not collected, no.
You were asked concerning tennis shoes, shirt, shorts that presumably Devyn Michaels was wearing the night of August 6th, correct?
Correct.
This search warrant at the home was executed on August 7th, 6 p.m., give or take?
Approximately.
She had given an interview at 7:55 p.m. wherein she had discussed being in the terrible hearse with Johnathan, correct?
Correct.
The video that we saw from a prior witness, that was collected by Detective, I believe, August 11th. Does that conform with your recollection?
I don't know the exact date it was collected, but it would have been after the search warrant.
After the search warrant. So when we heard testimony from crime scene landless Miriam concerning, well, shoes weren't recovered, shorts weren't recovered, this search was going on when shoes were not being looked for, correct? The search occurred prior to your learning about the video and what Devyn was wearing, correct?
Correct. Or we had video from the Burlington Coat Factory, and I believe pictures that were being sent from the other detective that reviewed that video. So all we had at that point, I think, was the dress that we had actually seized from the residents at that time.
Let me ask you about that. Since we're on that point, do we have copies of this Burlington video that's been referenced to?
We do not.
You didn't preserve that, did you?
We did not.
So we've heard testimony concerning, oh, we're basically discrediting a story where someone comes up to the daughter, but we don't have the benefit of that video to review, do we?
No.
There are a couple of photos that were taken in reference to the Porcupine Rim search. I'm going to show you what's 265A. I'm sorry, it's just 265. We do see a couple of tennis shoes here, don't we? Black with white soles.
Yes.
Those were not collected through the course of this search warrant execution, were they?
They were not.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as state's exhibits, exhibit 2021 291A. Presumably this is a closet in the Porcupine Rim residence, correct?
Correct.
We have tennis shoes up here, don't we?
That is correct.
But those weren't collected or put into evidence, correct?
They were not.
We had heard testimony from Dr. Burns in reference to a bone chip missing when the head was severed at the Paladura residence. Was a bone chip ever recovered at the crime scene?
No.
Was a bone chip ever looked for in the crime scene?
No.
Were the blankets surrounding the body booked into evidence?
That I could not tell you at the top of my head.
If I told you that there's been testimony that there wasn't, would you have any reason to disagree with me?
If you told me to say that again?
That they weren't?
That they weren't taken?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wouldn't have any reason to disagree with you.
The blanket on top, the surrounding, I mean, the mattress, none of that was taken and impounded into evidence, correct?
Correct.
There was testimony from the last witness elicited concerning footprints in the backyard of the Paladura residence. We had marked and admitted, and the court will have them, exhibits of footprints. You were aware of these footprints in the backyard?
Correct.
They were measured.
Correct.
Any further analysis done on the footprints in the backyard where this dead body's found?
As in what type of analysis?
Size comparisons,
To
male, female, shoe size.
I do not believe so.
They were documented, but they weren't followed up on, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware of what size Deviere Willette his feet are?
I could not tell you at the top of my head, no.
Were any of his shoes seized?
No.
Fair to say that those photographs appeared fairly recent, like fairly recent footprints, based upon the review of the photographs?
I could not tell you if they were recent or not.
Okay. But they were fresh. I mean, they were there. They were in sand, correct? Presumably the elements wouldn't have changed them or flattened them, and we have seen pictures of those photographs, or we've seen, you know, those have been admitted as exhibits. No follow-up investigation in reference to that, correct?
Well, we didn't have any evidence to say that somebody had come through the back towards the end of the investigation. So as far as any comparisons done, like you're saying, yeah, no, there were no comparisons done after the fact.
How about the directionality? Were those footprints leaving the residence or entering the residence?
I don't think you could tell whether or not.
But it's your testimony, nonetheless, that because Deviere's phone was at the house, he was basically eliminated as a suspect, correct?
On top of his statement, Devyn's statement, the cellular phone, correct. His vehicle never left the neighborhood. Both vehicles never left the neighborhood. We deduced, yeah, that he and the girls were there at the house that he had to watch.
But the girls were asleep, correct? The girls were, I mean, they're going to school the next morning. That is fair to say. The girls were going to school the next morning, correct?
Correct.
Girls weren't up all night, were they?
I couldn't tell you if they were up all night or not. I just know that there was a text message also from Deviere to Devyn stating, I think it was around 10:30-ish, where he said that he was going to sleep and the girls were already asleep.
But we don't know whether he stayed there or not. His phone stayed there. We don't know if he stayed there, do we?
Given all the video surveillance, given his phone, vehicles, nothing left the neighborhood, we could say that he didn't leave there.
There was a walkway, and we addressed it with the last detective. One house over from the Porcupine Rim residence, correct? One could walk out of the neighborhood and not be seen. Fair to say?
Correct.
He could have gone over the back fence because it was on Rebecca. It butted against the street, correct?
Correct.
There was a presumption that perhaps someone had driven, but again, the video coverage of the Porcupine Rim residence was not perfect, was it?
Surrounding Porcupine Rim?
Yes.
It was motion activated.
Correct. And subpoenas weren't issued to get the entire documentation of the comings and goings, correct? Homeowners were relied upon, correct? And whatever they turned over.
Correct. But if you have motion activated cameras, they would have access to all the activations that are with the cameras. So subpoenaing, if you're asking us if we subpoenaed the actual company, see if there's extra video,
You weren't.
we didn't.
You had to rely upon the voluntary participation of the neighbors, correct?
Correct.
And you'll agree with me, sometimes in Clark County in the Vegas Valley, oftentimes neighbors don't necessarily, they aren't the most cooperative, fair to say?
Sometimes, correct.
In reference to the analysis of Deviere's phone, while that phone was at the Porcupine Rim residence, there wasn't any activity on it during the night, correct?
Activity as far as what?
Anything on the screen, apps, things being done. Are you aware of that?
That I couldn't tell you.
If a phone is left and a person crosses the valley, if there's no activity on that phone, that would be consistent. The person isn't with that phone, correct?
Say that again?
Yeah, if a phone is left, let's say a person leaves his residence, okay? Let's say Deviere leaves the Porcupine Rim residence and goes to the Paladura residence and he leaves his phone behind, you wouldn't expect for there to be activity on that phone, correct?
Correct.
And the lack of activity on that phone would be consistent with that phone having been left there, correct?
Correct.
You testified that no DNA evidence was taken from Deviere to compare it with any DNA that was taken, correct?
Correct.
You had testified that you did not obtain a warrant to do that, correct?
Correct.
You could have gotten that DNA by asking him for it, correct?
For consent, correct. We could have asked him.
Are you aware of that was ever done?
No, it was not.
It was assumed from the get-go that he was not involved because his phone was at the house that night, correct?
And everything else that we listed that ruled him out.
You've had cases wherein a person goes and commits a heinous crime and leaves a phone behind, correct?
It's happened.
Are you aware that Deviere worked for Hometronics? He was involved in installing home security systems?
That's what he advised me, yes.
Are you aware that he had tools and that he installed hundreds of security systems in homes across the valley?
I don't know how, as far as the amount of stuff that he has installed, but yeah, he had mentioned that he installed security cameras and hung TVs and stuff like that.
Home entertainment systems.
Pretty much.
And you'd agree with me that in order to install a home entertainment system, you need to have tools like a mechanical powered saw, correct?
That I couldn't tell you what exactly. I can tell you from experience, as far as me hanging TVs and doing security cameras, I used a drill bits, and that's it.
Speakers, you got to cut the drywall, put speakers in.
If that's what you're doing, as far as going into the wall.
You had testified that you had sealed up and taken the Nissan Armada, correct?
Say that again.
The Nissan Armada, you testified that it was basically sealed up and submitted for tests, correct?
It was sealed and then towed to the station, yes.
And that was done in order to obtain any trace evidence, blood, DNA, things of that nature, correct?
Correct.
And the results of that analysis was negative in reference to a crime having occurred, correct?
Correct.
No blood was found.
No blood was found inside the vehicle, no.
No DNA being traced back to Johnathan was found, correct?
Correct.
You know, you had testified that you said something about spots, water on the vehicle. It was your opinion that maybe the vehicle had been washed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you take any close-up photographs of that to substantiate that, or is that just an assumption that you're making?
That's from what looking at the vehicle on scene, and yeah, noticing that there were water spots on the vehicle.
The inside of the vehicle was kind of a mess, wasn't it? Maybe not teenager mess that we heard from another witness, but I mean, it was not very clean, was it?
I guess it was whatever you consider clean. It's cleaner than my vehicle, so I considered it clean.
We had heard testimony, I believe it was from Detective Spangler, concerning a stop at Funnies. Are you aware of that? Under the analysis at the Burla, the morning of the 7th.
No.
We'd heard testimony, I think Detective Spangler had referred to it as Burla, or I'm sorry, through his analysis as like a Funnies car wash, but Funnies is a gas station, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit X3. Move to admit and move to publish.
Did you say X3?
X3.
Okay, X3 will be admitted. Permission to publish is granted.
This is Funnies. There is a car wash off to the side. There's also gas pumps, correct?
Correct.
As far as the analysis of the location of the vehicle, are you aware that it's consistent with being at a gas pump versus a car wash?
Like one or the other?
Yeah. No analysis done on this?
As far as it going to fill up gas or going through the car wash? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. We heard testimony from part of your team that the vehicle stopped here, presumably after going to the school on August 7th.
Yeah, if you're asking if we can say that it went through to get gas or the car wash, I couldn't tell you which one it did.
We heard testimony that under the burglar that it was turned off, the vehicle, when it was at Funny's. Are you aware of that?
No,
You'd agree with me that you turn your car off to fill it up with gas. You don't
Yes.
leave your car running generally, correct?
No.
You drive through a car wash, don't you?
correct.
Are you aware of the movements of this armada the morning of the 7th?
Not all the movements, no.
Okay. Through your investigation, you learned that Devyn took the girls to school, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you had learned earlier through your investigation that there had been a discussion with Johnathan of the girls going to the school next to Devyn's house, correct?
Correct.
Took the girls to school that morning, went to Funny's, fair to say, got gas.
I can't dispute that, no.
Okay. Also went to Taco Bell, correct?
Like I said, I don't know all the exact spots that the vehicle went.
You had given testimony in reference to the wallet belonging to Johnathan's Social Security card. You recall that testimony?
Yes.
There had been evidence found through the extraction that Johnathan had lost his wallet and then found it August 6th of 2023, correct?
I don't remember the exact dates, but I do remember, yes, that Devyn actually mentioned that to us also, and that we did see the pictures in the phone.
Okay, so Devyn told you that he had lost the phone the day before, August 6th, and then the phone analysis confirmed that there was text between the two of them where he'd lost his wallet. And
Lost
said,
it,
hey,
yes, correct. Lost the
found it.
wallet, not the phone.
Okay, the wallet, Social Security, those had been lost and they'd been found just the day before, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that obviously finding those items in the house would be consistent with Johnathan moving into Devyn's house, correct?
No.
Well, I mean, he'd lost his things. She had told you that he had lost things before and she'd given him items, correct?
That's what she had told us, yes.
All right. And you've moved before. You'd agree with me that moves can be hectic, correct?
Correct.
Especially if girls, young ones are involved, correct?
Correct.
All the evidence points to the days leading up to this that a move was occurring wherein Johnathan was moving in with Devyn, correct?
Correct.
The girls had been at Devyn's house since around May 27th of 2023, correct?
I don't know the exact day, but I believe that she told us they were there up until school ended, and then once school ended, the kids went with her.
Yeah, and they were with her all summer, correct?
Correct.
And then through the course of your investigation, you learned that they were going to try things again and that Johnathan was moving in with her and the girls, and that was the plan, correct?
That's what we were told, yes.
Through your investigation, walking through the house at Paladura, there are empty alcohol bottles, correct?
Correct.
Through the course of your investigation, you learned that Johnathan was a drinker.
Correct.
Through the course of your investigation, you'd learned that he had been drinking throughout the day of August 6th.
That's what we were told.
His key, and you've given testimony concerning the truck pulled in front of the Paladura residence like it was almost going to be a temporary stay or something. Remember that testimony?
Correct. That's what it appeared to look like.
But you'd agree with me that the truck's pulled in, he's been drinking. A reasonable person would probably take the key away from him if there was a concern about him drinking and driving, correct?
Sure.
You had testified that when you came up the driveway, Porcupine Rim, it's your testimony you saw a cell phone off to the side, correct?
Correct.
That was the side of Devyn's vehicle, correct?
Correct.
You had testified that she was moving things. It appeared she was carrying items in to the residence, correct?
That's what it appeared to be.
You can't say when that phone was dropped, whether it was accidentally or otherwise through the course of this move, correct?
No, not exactly.
You are aware through the analysis of the phones that Devyn had sent a voice note to Johnathan's phone at about 4 a.m., correct?
Correct.
And that concerned registering the girls in the morning, correct?
I believe so.
You'd agree with me that one interpretation of that is that Devyn thought that he was alive, correct? She was complaining about his failure to register the girls.
Sure.
I mean, you said sure. You agree with me. That's possible.
I can agree with
isn't it?
what you're saying, yes. It's possible.
And that through the analysis of Devyn's phone, she had received several calls the night before from the landline of her home, correct?
Correct.
11 calls, correct?
From the landline?
Yes.
I don't know the exact number.
You're also aware through the analysis of the phones that the night before she'd been with Johnathan until about 1 a.m. and that she'd received a number of phone calls from the landline from her home address, correct?
She would have been there till at least 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, the night before. So she was there late 2 nights in a row, correct?
The night, you're talking about the 5th?
Yes.
Oh, that I'm not sure as far as how late she stayed there at that time.
Okay, but she'd received a number of phone calls from her home 2 nights in a row, correct?
I don't have anything to dispute that now.
And there was a landline at her residence, correct?
That's what she told us, yes.
Deviere, if you're aware, has testified that there was no landline at the residence. Are you aware of that?
No.
You had been asked concerning your interview with Deviere and how he had minimized the relationship, the type of relationship that he had with Devyn, correct?
Correct.
He outright lied to you, didn't he?
Like I said, he minimized his relationship with her, yes.
He was asked by you if they slept in the same bed, and he said no, correct?
Correct.
That was a lie, wasn't it?
Correct.
You had asked him if they were intimate, and he said no, correct?
Correct.
That was a lie, wasn't it?
It's what, yeah, he told us, and what Devyn had told us also.
They were both minimizing that relationship. They were both covering for Deviere. Isn't that right?
Minimizing their relationship.
Later on through the course of the interview, Deviere says that he didn't know his dad was moving in, correct?
That's what he had said.
But that was a lie, wasn't it? Based upon the analysis of the phones and interviewing witnesses, correct?
That he didn't know that his dad was moving in?
Yeah.
I think through the course of the investigation, he had said that, yeah, he didn't know, but it was aware that the plan was John was going to move in. Because I think he actually had said during our interview that he knew that Yoko was trying to kick him out because he wasn't paying rent, and at the same time, he basically was told that he wasn't going to allow his dad to be homeless. So he said, yeah, I don't want my dad to be homeless, so I'll agree, and I was going to move out for a little bit.
But then he later was untruthful in saying, in reference to the knowledge of his dad moving in and him having to move out, correct?
I don't believe that was in the interview that I conducted.
Okay. You had testified that when you interviewed him in the morning of the 7th, I'm referring to Deviere, he told you he'd been drinking, correct?
Correct.
But you're unaware if he'd been drinking continuously from the night before, correct? You don't know.
I don't. Just from what he told me, that he started drinking as soon as he got home, after finding out about his father's death.
Are you aware of where he went the morning of August 7th?
Not specifically. We do have his phone tracks that show that he had driven around town.
Okay. But you really didn't follow up or look too closely at that because he really wasn't on the radar. In fact, he was told that he was under the radar, correct?
Correct.
Detective, you'd agree with me that this was not a complete investigation.
No, I would not agree with you.
So it's your testimony that this was a complete investigation?
Yes.
Given all the things that we have talked about, it was a complete investigation, that's your testimony?
Correct.
Finally, in reference to the autopsy, you testified that you were present during the course of the autopsy, correct?
That is correct.
And you reviewed the autopsy report.
Correct.
In your opinion, was the autopsy report correct concerning its various findings? And I'm not asking for a legal opinion, but was it accurate?
I can't argue that it wasn't.
Okay. States here, page 2, tattoos, and this is in reference to Jonathan's body. It states no tattoos identified, correct?
I couldn't tell you if that was part of it, no.
If I may approach the witness.
Yes.
I'm referring to page 2 of the autopsy report.
Which part are you referring to?
Tattoos.
Yes, it says no tattoos identified.
If I could have these two marked. That's the next couple of defense exhibits. YZ and Z3?
Yes, Y3 and Z3.
Y3 and Z3. Showing you what's been marked, and I'd move for admission. There's no opposition.
Y3 and Z3 are admitted?
Fair to say that that's a tattoo on Jonathan's arm, correct?
Correct.
Appears to be his right arm, correct?
I couldn't tell you from this view.
Z3, left arm, correct?
Correct.
So we've got a mistake made, at least one of, I'd submit many, concerning the autopsy. It states no tattoos. He's got tattoos, correct?
Correct.
Move for admission of A4.
A4 for admitted?
This is Jonathan's hand. Appears we've got a wound on that hand, don't we?
From the picture, yeah, there's a wound there.
Court's indulgence. Just one final question. Through the course of your investigation, you came in contact with the Principal Leatherman, and it was learned that Johnathan and Devyn were planning on enrolling the girls to the school next to Devyn's house, correct?
Through that interview, I found out that Devyn was trying to.
But then you make reference to Johnathan wanting to enroll the girls with her, correct? At the school near her house.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Detective, at the beginning of Mr. Draskovich's cross-examination, he referenced a potential second phone for Johnathan. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just want to clarify, no cell phone associated with John was found at Paladura, correct?
Correct.
No cell phone for John was found anywhere inside the Paladura scene.
Correct.
There was the phone found for John at Porcupine Rim,
That's correct.
the one in the driveway.
Yes,
And then you got the CDRs or call detail records for that phone.
that is correct.
Just so the jury understands, the 11 devices that were submitted for forensic analysis, those were all found inside the Porcupine Rim home.
That is correct.
So if John may have had a second phone, it's not his active phone at the time.
That is correct.
In fact, there's activity on John's phone on the 6th into the, the morning of the 7th, and we know that's the one he was primarily using.
That's correct.
With regard to the swords and the shower at Paladura, you indicated that you don't know what exactly was done with those items, correct?
Correct.
But you can say that the swords were found at Porcupine Rim, the shower would have been at Paladura. We agree there.
That's correct.
And if someone has an item in their home, do you expect for DNA, their own DNA, to be found on it?
That is correct.
And so let's talk about the swords for a second. If defendant's DNA is found on it, or Deviere's, would that be shocking considering the fact that it's in their home?
No.
Same thing with the shower. There's been testimony that Ms. Michaels has been in and out of the Paladura home several times. John obviously lives there. Deviere's lived there in the past. If there's DNA found in the shower, would you be shocked by any of those people?
No.
Okay. That's not necessarily an investigative tool that will help you answer an unanswered question.
Correct.
There was some questions about the shoes and the clothing associated with the defendant, and I just want to make sure everyone understands. There was the initial search warrant at Porcupine Rim on August 7th, correct?
Correct.
And then at a subsequent date, I can't remember off the top of my head, they went back and took more photos,
Correct.
and they found those blue shorts.
That is correct.
Okay. The white tank top that you see in that Chevron video, was that ever found?
No.
And then there was photos of, I believe it was 2 sets of black and white shoes. You recall that?
That's correct.
But your testimony is no one ever found the black and white shoes with the big white Nike swoop
That is correct.
that was seen in that Chevron video.
Yes.
There was some also questioning about the amount of blood. You would expect more, correct?
Correct.
You cannot testify to this jury whether or not the person who did the killing put a towel over the head or anything like that when the real wet work was happening, correct?
Correct.
In fact, there's evidence to suggest there's a lot of evidence removed from the scene.
Correct.
One big glaring piece of evidence, correct?
That is correct.
At least. There was some testimony about the shoe prints in the backyard.
Yes.
It's kind of the same line of questioning. You can't time shoe prints, correct?
No.
So if there is a shoe print in the backyard, it could be from anyone who's ever been in that residence.
Correct.
Now, the point Mr. Draskovich made is a good one. Maybe wind blows and it would look more weathered or something, but you can't say when that shoe print was left, no matter how much testing you do with that.
I could not know.
You were discussing how you ruled out Deviere, and you kept saying it was a multitude of things. It wasn't just you take his word for it that he wasn't there, correct?
Correct.
May I approach? Yes. Showing you state 663, you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
A Google map showing directions from one place to another.
And specifically walking directions from 5510 Porcupine Rim to 2698 Paladura?
Correct.
I move for the admission of that.
No objection.
663. Just real quickly for the record, what's the walking distance between the two?
Looks approximately 7 hours and 27 minutes.
And that's, to be fair, that's just one route. Like, I'm sure there's hundreds of different combinations of streets you could take, correct?
Correct.
But fair to say it's quite a ways across town.
Correct.
And you indicated that the video surveillance ruled out Deviere's vehicles from having either left his home or entered the scene.
Correct.
At Paladura.
That is correct.
Mr. Draskovich asked you about activity on Deviere's phone. He's basically saying, like, it was left at home. You got that line of questioning.
Correct.
And asking if there is activity on it, and I believe his question was that would be consistent with him not being with the phone. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Correct.
Could also be consistent with him being asleep.
That is correct.
So that doesn't tell you much. And would you defer to the expert that we haven't called yet, Clinton Campbell, Detective Campbell, when it comes to any technological findings on the phones.
Yes,
Okay, so he's better suited to answer those
that is
questions.
correct.
Mr. Draskovich asked you about these post-homicide text to John from the defendant, correct?
Correct.
And he said one interpretation is that she thought he was alive, correct?
Correct.
Another interpretation is that she was alibying herself, correct?
That is correct.
In fact, the killer in this case took substantial steps to cover up what he or she had done, correct?
Correct.
Taking a head from a crime scene is kind of an extreme example of covering up.
Very extreme.
Not exactly shocking to see an ally text.
Correct.
The autopsy, there was just an autopsy photo shown suggesting Mr. Draskovich's word was wound on A4. Remember that?
Yes.
You're not a forensic pathologist, correct?
Correct.
You're not a medical doctor, correct?
Correct.
Would you defer to the doctor's testimony as it relates to injuries?
Correct.
Have you ever heard the term slippage before?
Yes.
Understanding you're not a doctor, so if you're not comfortable answering, what is slippage generally?
After, basically, we say slippage, skin slippage, at post-mortem, as the body starts to decay. When you touch the body, the skin actually can start slipping off the body since it's decaying at that point.
Okay. And so when you agreed with Mr. Draskovich, hey, that looks like a wound, ultimately you're going to defer to a medical doctor as to whether that's a wound or not.
Correct.
And what exhibit was that?
A4.
A4.
Yeah. Detective, I apologize. I forgot to put these up before. May I approach?
Yes.
Almost done. You recognize all of these?
Yes.
And do those all appear to be images of the relevant folks we've been talking about?
Correct.
Judge, I move the admission of 13, 609 through 613.
Number 13, 609 through 613?
Yeah.
No objection.
Okay, then I'll read them.
Thank you. Just for the record, 613, who is that?
Masao Yoshida.
612, who is that?
Victim Johnathan Willette.
611, who is that?
His mother, Yoko Willette.
609, who is that?
Deviere Willette.
610, who is that?
Devyn Michaels.
613, who is that?
Johnathan with his 2 kids.
Do you see the defendant who you arrested for murder with use of deadly weapon here in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you please point to that person and describe something she's wearing today?
We stipulate the ID of Devyn Michaels.
All right. Identification has been stipulated.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness. Thank you, sir.
Any follow-up, Mr. Jackson?
As far as deferring to the medical doctor in this case, that's the same medical doctor that said that there were no tattoos, correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
Any follow-up on that?
No, thank you.
Do the ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for this witness? If you could write your question on a full sheet of paper with your name and your juror number. Counsel, please, sir. Detective,
Yes, ma'am.
was there an inventory of tools taken in Deviere's work van and verified with his employer?
There was not.
Okay. And at any time, was the missing knife ever described to you?
Yes.
If so, could you describe the missing knife? What type of blade? Was it serrated, the size or length?
It was described as kind of like a meat cleaver hatchet type.
Okay. State any follow-up based on the juror questions?
Just, I don't know if you caught that part. It said, was it serrated or not?
She said no.
Thank you.
Any follow-up?
No follow-up, thank you.
Okay, do the ladies and gentlemen, do you have any further questions for this witness? Okay, seeing no response, Detective, you are excused. Thank you very much for your testimony.